Hey, welcome to the show. This is your boy Comet Chat. This is a special edition of Mr. Comet Chat's Neighborhood, and today I have a very special guest. It is the Gospel Mark with the letter C. What is going on, brother?
Woo! What's going on, man? Thank you for having me here. Peace to everybody out there. Peace to the chat. Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there.
Yeah, same from me. I did a little stream earlier. Tell everybody Happy Mother's Day. Very special women in my life. I got two mothers in my house, my wife and my daughter who has children. So, like he said, Happy Mother's Day to all of y'all. Fantastic women here in the world. Couldn't do it without you.
Absolutely.
Okay. Today, I'm going to talk with the Gospel, who is 1/6 of the Dark Council.
Yes, sir.
I just want to give a shout out to them. I streamed a couple times with Fatal and Demajanai. Those brothers are cool, man, good people. I also was fortunate enough. Yep, I was also fortunate enough to have Abu Nas on at one time. Thank you for coming on, Abu Nas. I'm still trying to get Lord Callis, but I know I'll get him. And I streamed one time with Drunk. But like I said, fantastic group of guys, man. Y'all doing your thing.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to get into it. I'm going to start off a little, just ask questions. The first question I want to ask you is, what made you get into YouTube?
Well, it was almost probably going on 5 years now. And
going on 7 years. I did my homework. You started in November 2014.
Oh, okay. Wow, time flies.
Yep.
It was basically a situation where my son suggested, that I get on and everything. He and his friends were on, and they were just goofing around, and I was giving them a hard time because they were like producing a lot of incriminating evidence and stuff. So I would always be like watching his stuff, and I'm like, hey, "What were you doing down there, son?" Dad, how'd you know? Well, you were streaming, but So he was like, "Dad, you should do a YouTube channel," and I was like, "I don't know anything about that, but I started thinking, like, in the beginning, I was doing a lot of content geared towards some of the craziness I was seeing out here in the streets, in the world. And I used to call them message in a bottle videos, where I would just give my take on things, because I've always been like a very observant but very quiet guy. I would notice things, but I didn't think anybody wanted to hear what I have to say and stuff. So I usually kept my mouth shut. But it became apparent to me, as I was going on through life. And I used to say this in my videos: the ones who shouldn't be speaking are speaking way too loud. And it seems like they're speaking for everybody. I was saying, I was advising those of us who know better to speak up a little bit louder, to kind of like at least bring some balance to it. So, I would call out certain things, and, and I would do it that way. And then I just, because, I've always been like a geek and everything. So randomly, I would also do videos about, pop culture and, geek culture. And I did one about The Last Jedi. And, I was so outraged by that. And then I started getting more views and everything. And it kind of just took off from there. And then I found that there's a common thread that runs through the social stuff that I was talking about, and the geek stuff, what was going on in geek culture, because there's so much of this, the virtue signaling stuff and everything that's going on. Mm-hmm. There's a common denominator there. So I found it very easy to go back and forth between the social stuff and the geek culture stuff, because they are very much tied into each other. So yeah. So I'm having fun with it, and that's also very, very important. I got to be having fun with it. So
exactly, I see that you're having fun with it, because just about on your streams now, you come up with a song that kind of ties into what you're going to talk about. and I have that same kind of spirit. I just don't have, I guess, the nerves to do it like you do it, because you just saying like you don't care. You just be. I'm kind of like I really want to go in here and know I really can't say and do that, but it draws you into the context, man. Because I follow about all your stuff now, man, and you put some very good. It makes you think. When I saw your last one, I really wanted to talk to you about it. We're going to get into that a little bit later on, but I just want to ask you a couple more questions. What is your next major goal? Do you believe, or you aiming for in this YouTube platform?
I think I just like to I like to inspire people the best way that I can, because there's so many people in the game that inspire me, and I kind of feel that that iron sharpens iron kind of thing. I feel like the more that we inspire each other and encourage each other, I think the better and the stronger we all get. I believe it's part of one of our saying here in the Fandom Menace, together we rise. And it's kind of that thing, because there's so much of an agenda out there, to kind of squash the voice of, I guess, the commoners, or just the voice of the customers, and I feel like this is the great equalizer that we have going on here on YouTube, which is why there's so many people out here trying to attack us and silence our voices. You see so many of us now being classified as like hate speech and radicals. It's because they're threatened by us, because they know that we represent the voice of the people and we can influence the people. It's like you look at like all of the channels and all of the people that we attract. It's a lot of people who are drawn to this little section of what we're doing here, and that really comes down to money, at the box office and things like that. Because like with The Last Jedi, there's a lot of people who are walking around like, is it just me, or did that movie really, really suck? And then you went on YouTube and you found this great, incredible community of people who feel the same way that you feel, who are noticing the same things that you were noticing. Yeah, they are, going out of their way to stifle people and divide people based upon race and gender and sexuality. And we're all feeling a certain way. Like, that's kind of messing with the creative process. So we're not getting the quality of entertainment that we used to get and that we should be getting. We should be elevating, but instead we're actually going backwards, because they can't tell a decent story without soapboxing. So, we just want that, man. And that's kind of what I'm proud to be a part of. I'm proud to help that along. I've had people come into the comment section and tell me that I've inspired them, to get a camera or to talk, or even if it's in a classroom or amongst friends. I've actually met a couple of people on the street through this, who expressed to me their appreciation for what we do here.
Good deal. There's a saying that sometimes you can't have too many kitchens too many chefs or cooks in the kitchen. There are 6 cooks on the Dark Council. What makes the 6 of y'all work and click?
Well, that would be there's just a really genuine chemistry there. It's like we came together and we're really respectful of one another. We don't always have to agree with everything, but we do have that about each other, where we can respect each other's differences. We can talk it out. We can see where we're coming from. And that's a very big ingredient there. Plus we all genuinely like each other, and we just get along really well. We care about each other and each other's success. We believe in giving each other a hand up, not just with what we do on YouTube, but in life. We definitely are very, very supportive of each other. So yeah, so that helps us to be able to just rock together and be very strong together, man.
Good deal. In your latest video that you upload, I think you titled it "Useful Idiots." I don't think I've ever really used that or heard that particular 2 words smashed together, but you described it very eloquently. And like I said, more interested in your thoughts on useful idiots, because I'm going to kind of play devil's advocate. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, one of the characters you said was a useful idiot was the Sam Wilson character in the Captain America. That I think. Please correct me if I'm wrong. One of the things you said was that he was finger wagging at one point, because some of the people in my circles that look like you and I, we thought his speech to the senators was inspiring and on point. But others, I guess, such as yourself, and I've heard a few others that didn't really care for it. So I'm trying to see what's the divide, and want to hear your side of the story on that, and what exactly break down what you think Useful Idiots is.
Yeah. The Useful Idiots. Well, the useful part, I'll break it down. It's basically they're useful to the writers who are infesting our properties, sci-fi and sci-fantasy right now. They have a belief that everything has to be divided by race, everything has to be divided by sexuality, and whatever you have, so because they feel the way that they feel, they create their characters to further, what their beliefs are. So even though these properties has existed for years and they've attracted people all across the spectrum, now for some reason, everyone has to have their box checked. Black people, no, they have to have someone who looks like them to root for, someone that they can relate to and everything. But and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with diversity. But after a while, it starts to become pandering, and it starts to become condescension, because you're telling Black people that we know that you're afraid to walk down the block and not get shot, by a cop or something. That's a part of your daily life, isn't it, son? And we're just supposed to be like, yeah, now somebody finally understands what we're going through. You know what I mean? And that's not always the case. Watching some of my videos that, I come from a law enforcement family, and while I do understand that there are some issues, just the disproportionate, distribution of force, between Black people and cops and things like that. I get that some of that does exist. I understand that. But for the most part, you have to be breaking the law to find yourself on the business end of, a cop doing his job and stuff like that. Like, they don't march for guys like us who work hard every day. They march for people who have had records, not to say that they deserve, to be killed or anything like that. But I'm just saying there's this tendency to do that. So these people write these characters that way, where they characterize all of us like we can relate to somebody who is running from the cops, somebody who was a drug dealer or domestic violence or something like that. So we're supposed to relate to that type of life, and their characters are written that way. So, like I said, the useful part is that they want to push that. So if you want to defund the police, for example, you're going to have so-called Black Captain America talking about, I'm a Black man in America. You have no idea how hard that is. I don't particularly appreciate that, So, and I say useful because they're useful towards that agenda. And I say the useful idiots part because they're allowing themselves to be used. I'm talking about, and I don't know him, all due respect, to Anthony Mackie and stuff. But, in the industry, we allow ourselves to be used. We allow ourselves to be cast in the roles of victims too much, too often.
But let me play devil's advocate. For years, we've been always chasing that lead role, chasing that TV show, chasing our own role. And now it seems that we're getting a break. And there's a saying, you get your foot in the door first. Then once you're inside the room, that's when you can maneuver and change things. If we do this Black Captain America, which there's another word that's being used now, tokenism. If tokenism, to me, tokenism is you create a character and there's no backstory on it. There's no what's the word I want to use? There's no information. There's no kind of literature. There's no kind of cartoons. There's nothing. You just pull this pretty much out of your butt. Like, for instance, let's say, Marvel wakes up tomorrow and say, you're going to make Black Panther white. there is no source material that backs that up. But there is source material that backs up a black Captain America and a black Superman. So if the big studios wants to make that, why wouldn't a black person want to? Wouldn't you perceive that possibly as an opportunity for a black person to get into a lead role, maybe be a breakout role for him and lead to bigger and better things?
Oh, absolutely. And I would be all for it if Anthony Mackie was going to share his paycheck with me. You know what I mean? But what am I cheering for? He's getting rich. I'm still, grinding out here. But no, I understand. I get it. But I just happen to believe in the creativity of people. And I believe in the creativity of black people as well. So because I would say that we're maybe a generation or two behind, because, we had other things going on like the civil rights movement and stuff while, Stan Lee was being creative and all of those people back then, we were doing other things to, integration and stuff like that, it was going on. So now the children of those people who fought for those equal rights, we fought so that, or I should say our parents and our grandparents fought so that we would have the opportunity, to go to a school of art and design and things like that. So I believe in the ability of black people, of, Latino people, natives, anybody, Asians, Indians, to be creative. And I believe in the power of the breakthrough. Like if you come with like like a really good character, the character is really well written and stuff like that. I believe in the ability to be able to break through, even though there are established characters that people would rather go to see, at the movies and stuff like that. Sure. But when you look at, what was it, Spawn, that came out, back in the day, was created by, what was it, Todd McFarlane, right? I believe it was, and, did just great. Nobody heard of that, before he created it. And there it broke through, it found an audience. Blade was the same way. Blade is accredited with, sparking up a lot of the comic book movie era that we're enjoying today. So, and then you have the milestone, titles that are out there. Those are great characters. Why not give them a chance? Why do you have to put on Superman spandex? You don't have to. That's my point. Believe in yourself. You can do it. Everyone knows Superman. Everyone believes in Superman. So let Superman be Superman. You don't take people's heroes away from them as they identify them. Yeah, and I heard your video too yesterday. You were talking about all of this stuff is fake, but and that's right. It belongs to their studios. They can do what they want, but what they're doing is not wise, because you have generations that grew up with something. All that's going to come from doing this is resentment. You know what I'm saying? It's like everything that we fought for was equality. We didn't fight for give me yours. All we said was we want equality. We want the ability to be able to do what we do. Don't be afraid to shoot for the stars. You can do it.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm a little confused, because if there wasn't any version of a black Superman, then I would agree with you 1,000%. But there are several versions of it, and I remember you saying in your video that you hate the multiverse. But
yeah,
if there's not a multiverse, then there may not be opportunities for actors that look like you and I. So if now that there are, because it's not like you look into the Marvel catalog or DC catalog, there's a plethora of black superheroes. There aren't. Yeah, there are only a few. If I dare to say, if I had to really seriously count, I don't know if I could get a dozen.
Mm-hmm. So because we weren't creating anything. That's the thing. Like I said before,
we didn't have opportunity because we weren't in a position Stan Lee and these other creators were
at the time. Yes, but we act like history is done. History is moving forward. There's still humanity out here. There's still people who are creative. We're not done. So why can't this be the age of new creativity? Just like anything else, when you create it, what they used to say, if you build it, they will come. Yeah. If it's good quality and it's legitimately appealing, people will find it. People just want good stories. And if you can tell those stories from a different perspective or put a different spin on it, it will resonate a lot more than. And I know, the other multiverses and the other Supermen and Black Superman, and I think what they're doing with Captain America now too. It's like you have a Native American Captain America, you have Black girl Captain America, and all this stuff. I mean, that's fine and dandy and everything, but I really do believe in the creativity that says that you can do your own. You might even be able to do better. Ethan Van Sciver did Cyberfrog. Who knew anything about Cyberfrog? Cyberfrog? Like, what's that?
Yeah.
But he said, listen, I'm tired of what they're doing in this industry, and I'm going to go out and do my thing. Even if, like I said, Cyberfrog sounds so trippy, but look, people appreciate his talent. They appreciate his creativity, and he's doing well. Why can't other people take a chance that way? All we have to do is be supportive of the things that we like. We're still looking for a significant part of the comic book audience that would be the Black audience, because for a long time, being Black and geek, has not always been met with approval in the Black community. We always want to be so cool, we street and we this and we that, we got all this swag and stuff. And it hasn't always been encouraged for our kids to look at like the alternate ways of expressing themselves, whether it would be comics or science fiction, even getting into computer arts and things. It's never been easy for us to break that wall. So we have to give ourselves permission to grow, and sometimes realize that there's no lock on the door. Just open the door and give yourself permission to struggle and to compete. The answer is not always doing stuff like that. Even when they did it in the comics, people talk about there were Black Supermen in the comics. When I was growing up reading comics, I didn't even like to see it way back then. I didn't like to see, Black Superman. Okay, if the story is good and everything, that's fine. But a lot of times I recognized, the tokenism, I recognized the condescension in it. Maybe I don't want to be, like you. Maybe I want to be, like me in that way, because I always loved the character of Superman. I've always loved Clark Kent. I've always loved Kal-El. And
I do too. But I love those characters, and I don't think they should remake them as far as using their own names. But one of the points I did make is the white race doesn't have a lock on Superman. It just happened to be written that way because the writer was white at that time. But if you follow the logic, he is an alien from Krypton. So he could be just like Martian Manhunter. He could be green, blue, whatever. So that one particular character, I don't have so much problem or issue with if they do a Black version or a different nationality. Not so much, as long as the story makes sense and it's good. Other characters, maybe not so much. Like I said, the only one that really sticks in my mind as a good example is it makes no sense to me to have a white Black Panther. To me, that would be tokenism times a million.
Yeah.
So, but I guess on this, we'll just kind of have to agree to disagree, because I look at it as an opportunity for people that look like us to maybe get their foot in the door in Hollywood. You can't make change really until you're actually inside the game. As long as you sit on the bench, you really don't have an effect on the game. Once you're in the game, then maybe you can do some things. Because that speech that Sam gave, I thought it was on point. But
I mean, as far as getting our foot in the door, right? I remember Michael Jackson, telling a story a long time ago about part of his inspiration for Thriller was that back then they weren't playing any Black artists on MTV, and he actually got rejected a couple of times as well. He would submit videos or whatever. Maybe he tried to shop Off the Wall or whatever, and it didn't happen. It wasn't happening for him, even though he's been in the game or had been in the game since he was a child. And I remember him saying, so they didn't want to play his video. He said, okay. He's like, I went back. I went to the studio. He said, I came up with Thriller. I came up with Beat It, Billie Jean. And then I went back to them and I said, yeah, ignore that. So he knew that he wasn't going to get in the door until he knocked it down. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes your greatness cannot be ignored, is what I'm saying. So if you're going to encourage the next generation, like what you're saying, I believe is probably in the progression of our history was probably acceptable for our parents, their parents, maybe us to a degree. But what I'm trying to do with my son, and a couple of, with family and friends, is I'm trying to tell these kids, we came through a lot. Okay, we came through a lot so that you now can charge. Go ahead. It's like you were saying that Superman doesn't belong to white people, and he doesn't. He belongs to everybody. But that's the way the character was conceived. So I consider Superman belonging to me as he is, because that's the way I grew up with. I grew up with that, and Batman and all that stuff. And I did a video yesterday, about, a young boy who was dying. He lost his sight. He was losing his health. He was going to die. And he wanted to meet Luke Skywalker before he died, and Mark Hamill made that come true. There are characters there are people out there who feel the same way about the characters that they grew up with as well. If someone wants to meet Superman and you bring in Black Superman, there's probably a chance they're going to be like, no, that's not what I was going for. You know what I mean? It's like I was going for the character that's iconic, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, why can't we believe in ourselves to the point where we can create iconic characters, like all of us? Like I said, human history is not done, so we're just getting started. And as far as the Black community is concerned, now that we've come through all of that past that people want to act like didn't exist, people want to act like everything that happened between slavery and now didn't exist. So we're basically still trying to strike out, and we're still trying to do all of this. No, sacrifices were made. My grandfather made a lot of sacrifices for his 3 daughters, one of which is my mother, to be able to give me a better life, and my brother and my sister and stuff, so that I can sit here running my mouth and not have to worry about the things that I'm saying resulting in me being attacked or something. And I don't have that in my mind where I can freely speak. So once you're able to do that, you should be freely able to create and believe that you can take on Superman. I think, that was a great creation, but something, I think I can bring something more to this. One more thing. I wish I just happened to catch out of the side of my eye over there. One of the things that I have in common with Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, I happen to notice that he has this medal. It's a little plastic medal. It looks like a trophy that I guess his child gave to him. And it says, Dad to the rescue. And it's a Superman logo, and my son gave it to me, and I cherish everything that he gives to me, especially stuff like that, And this is what I'm saying. He didn't give it to me because he just thinks that I'm Black Superman or whatever. He just recognizes the character, and I've always been there for him. And we can relate to that without having it have to be something that looks like me, or him. I'm here for him. So he doesn't have to look to, and that's part of the problem too, I think, just low self-esteem, where you just need to see somebody who looks like you because maybe you don't have that in your home or in your community. Maybe that's the real problem. We need to start being there for each other where it counts. So we don't have to be threatened by, do I see myself on a screen?
Okay.
Just a thought.
Yep. You also made a statement about welfare state mentality. Go a little bit further back. I think you were saying that Black Panther is now becoming a welfare state mentality because pretty much due to the death of Chadwick Boseman, they're thinking about just killing off that character altogether, which I am not in disagreement with that. And I will tell you why. I think Chadwick Boseman was play that character. And when I say character, I mean T'Challa. I don't mean Black Panther. I think it should definitely be a Black Panther, whoever. I just think it should be. I wouldn't continue T'Challa. I just wouldn't do it. That's just my opinion, my 2 cents. What I've been kind of preaching, what I've been kind of saying I get a lot of backlash for this. I would make Killmonger, and this is why I would do it. He's the only person that still has a heart-shaped herb in his veins because he destroyed all the rest of them. Um, we never really saw him die on camera, so they could have put him in one of them suspended animation tubes, and Shuri could be doing her thing like they did to Bucky, get him reconditioned, that kind of stuff. And I would do a redemption arc on him trying to prove himself and learning the Wakandan ways and doing all this kind of stuff. Then when the pressure is really on Wakanda, he puts on the suit and comes to save the day. And Angela Bassett, the queen, welcomes him in as her nephew, and it goes off happy off into the sunset. I would do that kind of stuff. That's what I would do. And my friends was like, no, he killed too many people and this, da, da, da. Well, if I'm not mistaken, so did the Winter Soldier. But now he's been redeemed in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So if he got a redemption arc, why can't Killmonger get a redemption arc? Or I would be happy with Shuri, or I'd be happy with M'Baku. But because I'm a Michael B. Jordan fan, I'm leaning more towards him in that arc. So tell me your thoughts on it. Am I reaching? Am I too far out of park? Before you let me go ahead and say thank you, Ninjoy, for the super chat, $2 super chat. Ninjoy 243. Thank you, sir. Appreciate the support.
We got my brother Fatal J in the chat. What's up, Fatal?
What's up,
Becky? I see Bex there too. You know, just thanks for the love, everybody. Spread the word. Get some more people in here too. But I just want to start off by saying you're totally wrong, and here's why.
Oh my God! Oh, going somewhere I can't follow, Mark. Come on, man. So my story don't make a little bit of sense.
No. Honestly, yeah. I mean, I thought about that too. I thought about Killmonger, and I mean, it could be done, and I believe Shuri in the comic does do something like that. Yeah. I mean, I get it. It's just that Black Panther just started to break through. It's like I remember I took my son to go see Marvel Universe live, and that was a sold out stadium. It was like all of the characters on stage, and they were having a little adventure. And as everybody came out, you know, you heard the cheers and stuff. And Black Panther came out, and this was like shortly after the movie had come out. So the character Black Panther came out. It wasn't Chadwick Boseman, all right, because he never took off the costume or whatever. Whoever it was that was the performer as Black Panther came out, it was deafening. You know, a whole arena of kids yelling, going crazy, screaming for Black Panther, who up until now wasn't so well known. You know, so they loved him, and you know, children of all different races and backgrounds. It was a beautiful thing, you know, and I loved it. I mean, Black Panther, I think, probably got one of the biggest ovations besides Spider-Man and the Hulk. You know, I mean, everybody was, they made a big deal for everybody. But I'm just saying, for a character that was as little known as Black Panther to be brought to the big screen and be as popular as he was just getting started. You know what I mean? And the character has existed for so long with so many adventures. He is a king in his land. His story is supposed to be going on, you know, and I get where the movie fans, I get where they're coming from, you know, where, you know, Chadwick, you know, and all due respect to him, you know, I love him in everything that he's been in. He's been amazing. You know, but I mean, James Brown too. I don't know if you saw Get On Up. That was that was so slept on. He was amazing. You know, so his talent will be missed.
But I think your example proved my point, Mark.
That he was talented.
No. You said when you took your son to that place and the Black Panther character came out, the crowd went crazy. Black Panther, not T'Challa.
Okay.
So the T'Challa character is not important as the Black Panther character.
T'Challa is the king. He's the son of T'Chaka. You know, and he has existed in that way in the comic for longer than Chadwick inhabited the role. All due respect to him.
I understand that, but I think the geeks like us know that. But I think the more casual fans watching that, and that they could just seamlessly go into the fact that he's the cousin, or son of the brother. Chadwick died on some kind of off mission or something, or he's trying to go to form the Illuminati, something like that. I think it can slide in, and people. I'm just saying. These are ideas that
Illuminati,
that
though.
have crossed my screen. I'm just saying. We know that Kevin Feige cherry picks certain things from the lore. So, does this sound reasonable or does it sound unreasonable?
Sounds well. Okay, it sounds reasonable. All right, but
okay.
I wish that it wouldn't go that way, because there's a legend that's being formed here, and I think you've heard people say before, how many Supermen have we had? If we had just stopped at Christopher Reeve was amazing in his role. And if we had just stopped there, how many James Bonds, how many Spider-Men or Spider-Mans, how many?
Four. Four. Only four.
Linda Carter did well. Yeah, Linda Carter did an amazing job as Wonder Woman. For a generation, they didn't want to see another Wonder Woman. And look, Gal Gadot comes and knocks it out of the park and stuff. And I remember I used to watch Spartacus, and the actor who played Spartacus.
I remember that he died.
He passed away. Now the guy who came in, all right, maybe this isn't the best example because that dude was scrawny and he wasn't getting it done. But all right. Throw the Spartacus thing out, all right. But anyway, if you commit to getting a good, solid, talented, charismatic actor, I would love to see T'Challa's story go on. You know what I mean? And I made this observation before when I went to go see Black Panther. I went there as a Marvel fan, a comic book fan, and like I said, it wasn't always safe to be so when we were growing up. So I'm sitting there, with my geeky self. Oh, I'm gonna watch some Black Panther with my son. Come here, kid, and everything. And all of a sudden, the auditorium gets packed full of people who I know for a fact years ago were thumbing their nose at comic book movies. Who had no respect for comic book movies. There were people coming in kente cloth robes and dashikis, literally they were dancing down the aisle and stuff. And I'm like, what the hell? What are y'all doing here?
Like, colonizer.
Yeah, exactly. Wakanda forever. It's like, I don't know you. You were the same people like my pops. Love him so much. My pops used to endlessly make fun of me and my brother. To the point where he would be ripping up our comics. He didn't understand it at all. It's like you talk to him now. He's saved, and now it's like, oh man, I'm sorry. I did what I did, and it's like you because we were drawing. We wanted to be cartoonists and stuff, and if he would just be ripping our stuff up. Because I'm a tall dude. I'm 6'5" and a half, and I was supposed to be playing ball. And as I got bigger, I was supposed to be playing football, something. But that whole cartooning thing. No, so there wasn't a whole lot of encouragement there. And that's what these people were. Somebody told them now that the Black community was Wakanda, so now it was time to come in and, do all this rah, rah, rah stuff with no regard to the lore, no regard to the story, no respect for it at all. So these are a lot of those people who are just going to be like, Chadwick is gone. There can be no other Black Panther. No one can touch this role but him. And it's just like, do you know how long this character has been there? Can we have a legend? Can we have a Superman? Can we have something that endures without you taking it away? My son, I'm sorry, but halfway through that movie, I remember, my son tugging on my shoulder. Dad, after the movie is over, Toys R Us was still open. Can we go to Toys R Us and get a Black Panther? He just loved it because, in all due respect to Chadwick, because he was a great instrument in that and having it break through. But he's just getting started. And to put him out, especially while now you're talking about we're going to have a Black Superman. We already had a king, a king. You can have Wakanda without T'Challa, or even Black Panther without T'Challa and stuff, but that's not the way the story is supposed to go.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Don't you think that there are some? Let me see. I want to make sure I wrote this. Don't you think there are some actors that just embody that character that it just can't? It won't be right if somebody else does it.
No,
I still got my doubts about Mahershala Ali playing Blade. I don't know if he can pull it off. I don't see anybody else playing Iron Man. I don't see anybody else playing Thor. I don't see anybody else playing Captain America. I just don't think they can hit it out of the park like those particular actors I just named. I don't
Yeah.
think Mahershala Ali is going to kill it like Wesley Snipes did. Wesley Snipes made me believe there was a Day Walker out here killing people, and he was kicking their ass, taking names. I don't see that when I see Mahershala Ali. Now, he may prove me wrong because I was proven wrong because I did not see Ben Affleck being Batman, and now Ben Affleck is my favorite Batman.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that happens, but I don't know. I'm really skeptical.
I hear you, but that's part of the fun too. You know, how long have we been debating? Those of us who are James Bond fans, what's your favorite James Bond?
Oh, I hate James Bond now. God, he's so much crap.
Who, Daniel Craig?
I don't like him.
Yeah, you know, as an action,
I'm Sean Connery first, Pierce Brosnan. I like Timothy Dalton. Those are about my top three.
Yeah. Daniel Craig is just not smooth enough. He's brutal.
He's too gruff.
He does the action, but he's not going to deliver a line like shaken,
now,
not
stirred. What do you think about that black guy? What's his name? Reggae something Page. Reggae Gene Page, I think his name. He is being spoken about as far as being the new T'Challa, Black Panther, and the new James Bond.
Oh, is that guy from that show?
I can pull up his image. Hold on 1 minute. It was some British show or something.
I know who you're talking about. I can see his face.
I definitely think he has the charisma to pull off Bond. I don't know about T'Challa, but his name is being mentioned, so he may get it.
But see, there's the thing. When you start to see this, you know, and this goes back to the useful idiots thing, is that I could understand if it was one property that was doing this. Yeah, there he goes.
Yeah,
he's a pretty mother effer, ain't he?
Hey, he gonna put butts in the seat, man. He gonna put the female butts in the seat, just like Jason Momoa, just like Jason Statham. I got female coworkers, and boy, you call those two names, and man, they start fanning. So
the moisture is palpable. You know, yeah, don't bring Henry Cavill into the mix. You know, it's crazy. And they my thing is, how come we can't objectify women anymore, but women can objectify men? I don't get that. What happened?
It's the way of the world, bro. Way of the world.
Yeah. But, you know, I was saying that if you just saw one property do this, like if they just wanted to flip James Bond or whatever years ago, you might have been able to do a little something, you know, maybe. But when you start seeing this everywhere, you start to realize, hey, they're using my race, my heritage, my experience as a gimmick, a money-making scheme without being committed to it. Because you see the way, like they did John Boyega, you know, taking his image off the promotional material, depending on what your market is. You know, where's your commitment to diversity when you're doing stuff like that?
Yeah, that's pretty dirty.
It's disrespectful. And and what I was saying, that's why I put
doing that.
Oh, sure, man. You know, that's why I put him in that category too, with Black Captain America and Black Superman as being useful idiots, because they only use them when it's time to get virtue signal points, when it's time to be checking those boxes, but they're not committed to it. If they were committed to it, then they wouldn't have messed up Finn's character when my son was practically like idolizing that character. He loved that character in Force Awakens, which kind of is a lot of what fuels me. You know, because like I said, my son doesn't have to be looking for, you know, guidance or a hero or whatever. He's got me who's committed to that. All right. But if he loves a character, he loves a character. And I remember after The Last Jedi, he was done with Star Wars. They messed up Luke, and that's another one of his heroes. I remember during the movie, he said, "Dad, why is Luke acting like that?" And I was like, well, son, he's burnt out. I don't know. You know what I mean? I was wondering the same thing. But you betray the children. You betray the boys because you're so busy trying to uplift the women that you're bashing men. You're so busy trying to uplift Black people that you're bashing white people. That's not something that we've always stood for. We always stood for equality. Like I said, number one. Don't give me, James Brown said, Don't give me nothing. Just open up the door and I'll get it myself. I don't want what you have. It's like back in the day when the Ku Klux Klan and skinheads were doing their thing. That anti-black propaganda, that's what they sold memberships on. They're coming to take what you have. They're coming to take your woman. They're coming to take your homes. They're coming to destroy your tradition. Now, what do we see today? They make it look like black people are doing just that. We want your Superman. We want your James Bond. You know, we want everything that you have. We want it. Give it up. Black Lives Matter. But that's not what we've always stood for. We stood for equal opportunity. An equal opportunity to be able to make characters, you know, to be able to create things. It's a lowly station in life when you just try to take somebody else's seconds. You know,
I agree with that statement, but let me kind of play devil's advocate. Let's say a young Anthony Mackie is sitting in the theater and he sees Sidney Poitier or Denzel Washington or whatever black actor came before him, and he says, "Dad, that's what I want to do. I want to have my own featured film." Now he goes and does the work. He does Falcon Winter Soldier, and now that progresses to him being in his first live feature lead man role as a Black Captain America, which is supposed to be coming out. The next Captain America is supposed to be starring him. Mm-hmm. What is wrong with that dream? And what is wrong with him doing what he did to achieve that dream?
As long as he can maintain his dignity while doing it, you know, I don't have a problem with it. You know, I'm just saying that he was pretty damn good as the Falcon. You know, the Falcon barely had a chance. Why didn't the Falcon get to headline his own movie? You know, I'm just saying, you know, what would that have looked like? His own character. Now, I understand this is something that happened in the comic and stuff. So, you know, it's not unheard of and everything. And like I said, the episode before the episode that he actually picked up the shield, I did a video where I was saying I give him props for that. A lot of people didn't, you know, but I was saying that I was recognizing that I was likening it to my father when he first started off as an officer. Mm-hmm. And this was while a lot of that the Black Panther Party movement was going on, not Black Panther the comic or the character, but you know, the Black Panther Party was doing their thing, you know, and he was very, very young, and he got the job because you know, he wanted to try to make a life for us, you know, he knew he had a baby on the way, which was me, you know. So he put on the uniform, he put on the shield, and my mom was scared to death because they were talking about Black Panther Party was shooting at cops. So my father, being that he was always, you know, a conscious brother, he was always a thinking brother and everything, he was wondering, is there a conflict here, you know, between me putting on this uniform and any responsibility that I might have towards my community? You know, he knew that people were being called Uncle Toms, you know, people were being called Sambos, pigs, you know, all that stuff. And he chose to do his job, you know, but, and I recognize that, you know, that thing that Sam had going on in that episode, because
that conflict.
Because it wasn't just he was going to pick up the shield and white people were going to be dogging him. He was going to pick up the shield and black people were going to be dogging him. You know, white people, everybody was going to be wondering what's up with the Black Captain America. But if you do pick up the shield and you do want to rep that shield, and you want to, and my father, he wants to rep that uniform, and my brother, as it turns out, followed him into it and everything, then you know, rest in peace to him. You know, he was a first responder at 9/11, you know, who we believe got sick, you know, from ingesting all of that stuff. So you know, but he was dynamic. You know, the police commissioner came to speak at his you know, funeral and everything, Ray Kelly at the time, and he talked about how my brother was always the first one to go through that door. You know, that door, that unknown door, you know, and because my brother, he grew up reading Batman. So, you know, he would always say to me when he was ready to go for his shift, he would always say, "I am the knight." You know what I mean? And I used to be like, "Shut up, man." It's like you're a cop. He was my little brother too. It's like, I ain't gonna be there to save your ass. You better watch yourself. I told him, you get home safe, you know, and stuff. But yeah, so there was always that struggle, and you know, in the consciousness and stuff. So I gave them respect for that. But when you commit to it, you don't turn around the next episode and be wagging your finger at diplomats talking about, "I don't understand. I'm a black man in America." No, you're wearing the uniform, you're wearing the shield. You don't give them that. It's like you come home and you talk to your brother about it. You talk to your family about it, your wife about it, your confidant. All right. But when you are behind that badge, or behind that shield, nobody wants to hear, especially when you're in the process of doing your job, peacekeeping and law, enforcing. Where's the room for you to be doing that? So that's all I was saying. That was a situation where I saw him as being a useful idiot, because now the writers with their convictions are speaking through him. And I didn't see where that was honest to that particular character at that time. Even if he was right, it was a soapbox moment, and it took me out of that moment. Okay. So that's all, and I don't want to see a lot of that. So when he goes on to the movies, I want to see some ass kicking. I want to see some action. I want to see some drama, but I don't want to see too much of that. Unless, like I said, he's just at home chopping it up with his sister or something,
I got you.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to slide to another category because we got a little less than 9 minutes left. Unless you want to stay longer, I'm cool, whatever you want to do.
I'm good, bro.
What did you think of Mortal Kombat?
You know what? I enjoyed it. It was my first time being back at the movies in over a year. We actually went to go see it in the theater, and that had a lot to do with it.
Did you feel like you wasted money?
No.
Okay. All right.
I'm not that hard to please. I want to be entertained. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm not there to pick a movie apart. I can forgive a lot of things if you're entertaining me. And my son and I were sitting there and stuff, and there were a couple of really cool kills. That had us going crazy. They had us going crazy.
Kung Lao was my favorite by far.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
And that's like I did that sawmill. I was like,
yeah.
See, I'm a proponent of I'm not going to the theater unless it's something spectacular. I was at home. I saw that. I was able to rewind that thing several times. What? He did what? So I love the streaming service. So I don't know if I'm ever going back to a movie theater again, man. It's gonna be a minute. It's gonna be something. It's got to be something like Star Wars, some kind of Marvel movie. If they ever greenlight Zack Snyder and he do Man of Steel 2, I'm there. But and just regular stuff, nah, I'm staying at home, bro.
They're not gonna do Man of Steel 2 because they're gonna have a black Superman. But anyway, the point is that with me,
I'm glad you said. How about a black Superman is fucking awesome?
What is that?
Well, how about a black Superman is fucking awesome? It's the best thing you ever seen.
You know something? That's not even the issue for me. Like I can absolutely admit if something is good. I'm not a hater, dude. It's like if they do a good job with it and it's great, I'm gonna say they did a good job with it and it was great. But
no, what I'm gonna say is that gonna soften your view now that you, because a lot of times if you say I don't want to see that blah blah blah, and you go to the movie when it comes out and it's trash, that strengthens your resolve or your initial opinion. But if you go to the theater and that thing is dynamite, you'd be like, maybe I was wrong. I got a friend that was like really trashing Aquaman. It'll never do this, never do this, never do this. And Aquaman was the highest grossing DC comic book film. So he kind of sort of had to eat his words and kind of sort of change his opinion on it. So I'm just saying that, let's just say hypothetically, this Kal-El, Black Superman, I don't think it's going to be Clark Kent. I think it's going to be Kal-El. I think it's going to have a different name. I did the research. They were saying that one of these Supermans was based on Obama. So I don't know what that's all about. But let's just say that we go here next year, it comes out, and this Black Superman is freaking fantastic.
Well, to be fair, if they do one on Obama, then that would be a nice compromise because he's only half black. I mean, am I wrong, Chad? Am I wrong? All right, but I'm just saying, if it's good, it's good. And I will admit that it's good. But at that point, it's my opinion. All right, it doesn't change the fact that the Superman of legend is always going to be that Superman as the form that Kal-El took when he first came to Earth. You're talking about a black Superman. What black man do you know is going to be growing up in Smallville, bro, on a farm? It's not going to work, man.
We had
All
this
right, so
same discussion 2 nights ago, and I grew up in the South, cropping tobacco, picking beans, all that kind of stuff on a
res-
farm. So I'm just
respect,
letting you know, man. I did it as a
respect,
little boy.
respect, and of course, my great grandmother. We used to sometimes spend summers there. She used to live in Fayetteville, North Carolina,
Oh yeah.
and my great grandfather built that house from the ground up, and it was
Mm-hmm.
behind the train tracks, and we used to go watch her slaughter chickens and get
Mm-hmm.
really traumatized about that, but
Yeah,
but
man, I did
you know,
all that,
so
man, all that growing up. Oh
so
my
I
goodness.
can see it. I can see it. But like I said, it's a moment in history, and I think I heard Dimajanai say once. Shout out to Dimajanai that what you're doing is you're dating your material, all right? Because generations from now, when they return Superman to his original state, your Superman, our Superman, that black Superman, will be a footnote in history of something that they tried. It might have been good. It might have been good, but he's not going to own Superman because Superman was created a certain way. It'll always be that way. And I'm just talking about if he's going to be Kal-El Clark Kent. If he's going to
Mhm.
be one of the other, Superman or whatever, that's okay.
Calvin Ellis, and there's another one called Val Superman. It's on that. I really haven't followed him, but I'm trying to learn more and more about it because it seems to be a very hot topic. So I want to be as informed
Did you
as possibly, as much as
did you
possible.
read any did you read any of the milestone titles?
I didn't. I did read
Well,
that. I did read the icon you
yeah,
talking
well,
about.
Icon was also an alien, and he
Mm-hmm.
came to Earth and took the form of a black man.
Mm-hmm.
He lived through several generations. He saw slavery, he saw lynchings. I mean, imagine that on the big screen, bro.
Yeah.
It's like that, and of course,
Martian
stat.
Manhunter. Martian Manhunter took the form of a black man.
hmm
Yeah,
These
so
these things would really go far uh, to, I guess, validate the honesty of these characters. For some reason I'm reminded of the Bad Boy franchise with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. Like I
mhm.
remember when those movies first started, and up until now till then we had buddy cop movies where it was either two white guys, Tango and Cash, or it
Uh-huh.
was a white guy and a black guy, Lethal Weapon, which I love,
Mhm.
greatly. But
48
when they
hours, next 48 hours.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And when they did Bad Boys, that was the first time I saw a buddy cop movie with two black guys. And it wasn't so much that it was just that it was two black guys, but it brought, Will Smith has a universal appeal anyway. Martin
Mhm.
Lawrence, he does what he does. He's at the height of his powers back then.
Yep.
And I remember just watching the preview. I was like, this honestly, this shit is going to be dope as hell because the looks on their faces, like the way they were going about playing their role, like Will Smith, he was always the goofy Fresh Prince and everything. Dude had his goatee on. My man was talking about, like holding a gun. I was like, I gotta see this, and they created their franchise. They broke through. And this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. It wasn't just black people who went to go see that, talking about, yay, we finally have a black buddy movie. Everybody went to go see it because it was just that good. To the point where now, what is it, over 20 years later, they can do a Bad Boys for Life and still pull in tons of money. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm saying is I'd say don't be afraid to struggle, to compete. It's okay if these movies do well, but they're never going to own that role. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm saying. Let's get some legends up in here. Let's get some, some true, I guess, heroes that are going to stand the test of time, that are unique, instead of just alternate universe versions of this or black versions of that or whatever.
What's the next Marvel property movie you most excited to see? They got several on the horizon. I think week before last they did a little montage and they showed all the release dates for the upcoming Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Is there a particular one that's catching your eye?
Without a doubt, the Fantastic Four. And all they did was show the logo. Fantastic Four was the very first comic I ever owned. I was in Manhattan, with my mom as a little guy. And I remember, I guess she was trying to keep me occupied or whatever. We stopped by a newsstand and she picked up the Fantastic Four. And it was actually a reprint, so I got to see like the Jack Kirby, Stan Lee Fantastic Four, and the dynamic with the Fantastic Four, just it captured my imagination. I wanted more, so I started collecting more. I started, I think Marvel Masterworks was out back then, where they had like the volume of reprints of the old comics and stuff. And then, of course, the old Fantastic Four cartoon, from the 60s, where, Ben was like, it's clobbering time, voiced by Paul Frees. And, Johnny Storm, flame on, man, that was my stuff, man. So if they can bring it to this big screen in the MCU and do it right, I'm looking forward to that. I mean, unfortunately, it's not likely they're going to do it right, but on the off chance, just hoping, fingers crossed, lightning strikes, maybe they can get it right. I'm looking forward to that.
Wouldn't it be a wonderful thing if Kevin Feige is able to persuade Henry Cavill to come over and he would be the Doom in the Fantastic Four?
Ooh, Dr. Doom.
Yes.
I never thought about that. You know what? I can see it.
I can see him as Dr. Doom in that armor.
I can totally see it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
If you're listening, Kevin Feige, you need to pay me my money. Pay that man his money, which is me.
There you go.
If you make that connection, bro, because that would be awesome.
It dude. Would. The only thing that I ask, I would love to see them make the Fantastic Four a period piece. I would love to see them start them in the 60s, because when you really think about it, listen, hear me out now. When you really think about it, look at their names. Mr. Fantastic, the Invisible Girl. Okay, she was the Invisible Girl before the Invisible Woman. The Invisible Girl, the Human Torch, the Thing. These names are all indicative of that period. They sound like horror show movie titles. So just on that alone, it's like, who in this day and age now is going to come up with the name Mr. Fantastic? You know what I mean? It's like, that's definitely from back then. And the way that Sue Storm was envisioned, she was mousy. She was very much like a girl from back then before she found her way as a woman and was able to perfect her powers. Johnny Storm, I would like to see it done that way somehow. You could do it the other way. I mean, they did it with all the other ones, the other Fantastic Four movies, but I'm saying I would like to see them give that a try and somehow bring them up to date, which would explain where they've been throughout all of this,
Yeah, they could have been in like the quantum world, whatever that the Ant-Man dabbles in. So I guess I could kind of sort of see that.
Oh, absolutely. You could do it.
We've been doing an hour, bro. Anything you want to shout out or say, or any particular topic?
Anything? Let's see. I think we that
Pertman said the 60s movies would be dope, then bring the Fantastic Four into the present day in Phase 5.
Thank you.
It's coming from Pertman.
Yeah, I just everything that I do with my channel a lot is in challenging what's going on here. As far as this need to act like these people are speaking for Black people, because this is a dangerous time right now. Like I said, that anti-Black propaganda thing is real. Every time I turn the news, they act like all of this violence that's going on against Asians are being committed by Black people. I've been watching this on the news. Like, what's up with that? Why are Black people randomly attacking Asian people? Why are Black people disproportionately committing the crimes and things? Why is it being put out there that way? And at the same time, everybody is being made to say Black Lives Matter instead of all lives matter. And I do understand what's going on, but see, that's the evil of the situation. There's the statement that Black Lives Matter, which I think we can all agree with. And then there's the organization that is committed to the tearing down of the traditional family structure, which is why you had mentioned earlier when we were off air, the comment I made about the Black man not having a place in his own home and likening that to Wakanda, how the Wakanda movies are going to go on without Black Panther or T'Challa. Can it do that? Sure it can. Will it look all nice and glossy and everything? Sure it can. But there's a place for that king. There's a place for the man inside of his family. You know, so when you hear a lot of our white brothers talking about the war that's been going on against white men and the white image, which is very, very real, by the way, I always tell people the war against the black man started back in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, you know, when the welfare state and everything, and they made it more appealing for a lot of the young women back then to depend on the government than to build something with a good man. You know, so we lost our daughters and they're idolizing thugs and criminals, and they can't even recognize what a good man is that you have to sacrifice and build with. They want everything right away. If they can't get it right away, you're gone. How many of our beautiful children are running around out here without the guidance of their fathers? You know, and this is the kind of thing that I'm talking about. So when I see this, it bleeds over into our pop culture, you know, because they act like they're speaking for us. Like the best that we can ever be are imitations of them. The best we can ever get are what they interpret to be our morals and ideals and everything. Like I said, when they show us on the big screen, we all have to be afraid of brutality from cops. You know, we all have to be struggling. Mothers have to be single. You know, it's wrong. You know, we're having Mother's Day today, Father's Day. You got a bunch of cards talking about Happy Father's Day, Mom. That's how mainstream it is. You know, and all I'm saying is it's time to stop. It's time to take our image back. It's time for those of us who know better to speak up louder, because the ignorant bastards have been speaking up for too long. And that's what I told you. I used to say in the beginning of my videos back in the day. You know, it's not easy for me to get in front of a camera and be speaking and stuff like that. Well, it's getting easier now, you know, but, you know, it wasn't, you know, just something I was just like, I just want to call everybody's attention to me. No, but I do know that I do have something to say that balances out what a lot of these people out here are saying. And I know that I'm not the only one, you know, so when I see you doing what you're doing, you know, when I see Fatal J, Damajani, you know, Abu Nas, Lord Callis, you know, and Lorena and Jane Theory, and I see all of these people, I'm like, yes, join in, you know, join in. It's not us and them. Let's get into the family that we've always belonged to with everybody else and say that we're here too. You know, don't let these people do this, because too often it starts looking like we're just here to just fuck it up for everybody. We're going to mess up your Superman. We're going to mess up your James Bond. We're going to mess up everything. And they make it seem like this is something black people are asking for. We might be cheering for it now, some of us, but we didn't ask for this. We asked for equality. We asked for equal opportunity. We didn't ask to do that. We didn't ask to tear down traditions, you know, but that's going to cause resentment, and they know what they're doing. You know, so look at what these blacks are doing now. Look at these blacks. You know, you go on Twitter, and some people that we know are posting a video of the day of black people acting stupid, running around, rioting and stuff, and try to act like that's what black people do. That's what those black people do. That's not what we do. We go out and work every day. We have our morals and our traditions. We're raising our kids to do the things that we believe in, to be good, productive members of society. Don't let these people define who we are, especially if they're defining it wrong. You know, so that's what I'm saying. You can have your black Superman, your black Captain America, your black Star Wars character, but you damn well better represent them right. And they haven't done it yet. And that's my point. That's why we're here, to turn up the heat on them, because they always want to talk about the disgruntled white guys out here, the 40-year-old white guys. They have yet to address us. You know what I'm saying? We're just invisible. And that's when you got to do what Michael Jackson did. Kick down that door and say, yeah, ignore this. You know, Fatal J, shout out to him. He's got Ninja Blast coming out. You know, we need more independent creators. You know, we need more people to stop all of that rah, 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 and just say, we're good, we're quality, and we're giving you something that you might want to check out. We're giving you this alternative. We're giving you this to add to your universe. You know, we're joining, you know, and that's what's important. We're not here to destroy. We're here to join and make it all better, to elevate. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to be a part of. You know, so I give you your respect, because I know you did a lot of you know, devil's advocating here, you know, and everything. But you know, I think I have a pretty good handle on a lot of the things that you think. Not all of them, of course. And I look forward to getting to know better. You know, but
Same here.
you know, but you're a good brother, man. I know where you're coming from. A lot of what you're coming, you know. So I appreciate you, man.
Well, there you have it, straight from the man's mouth to God's ear to your ear. I hope that you absorb and understand where he's coming from as well as where I'm coming from. The gospel, I want to tell you, always welcome to my show. We have each other DMs now, so we can reach out, keep in communication. I support your shows on Tuesday night, Dark Council, and I'll definitely listen to all the content that you put up there, bro. You're a cool brother, man, and again, I thank you for joining me on my show. I know you're a busy man; you didn't have to do it, so thank you.
Hey, man, it's my pleasure, and I really did enjoy it. Thank you so much. And shout out once again to my Dark Council brothers. Shout out to all of our supporters. You know, shout out to everybody who watches my videos, listens to me butcher those songs and stuff. You know, thank you so much. I do appreciate it.
Yeah, I want to shout out to my people too. My crews, Anzo, Guy Scar, who was in the chat, Chris Knight, JJ, LDG. We got a whole crew trying to do some of the things your guys doing over there, man. And if you're not busy, people in the chat, check out JJ. He's doing the Bad Batch Roundtable here at 8:30. Please check us out. We're going to be discussing, breaking that down, those 2 episodes. So it'll be a good time. So until next time, take it easy and peace.
Rock on.